Hello students, in this video lesson, we will be revising lines and angles and quadrilaterals. There are some important questions given in this video lesson. I want you to have a look at it and please make a note. Find the measure of an angle which is 24 more than its complement. Now these are questions based on supplementary and complementary angles. So how do you approach such type of questions? Now it is understood that the two angles are complement to each other. That means if one angle is x, the measure of the other angle will be 90 minus x. Now why is that so? Because when you add these two, you get the total as 90. And you're aware that in complementary angles, the sum of the two angles should total to 90. So we begin by saying, let one of the given angle be x and its complement will be 90 minus x. Always begin the answer like this when you know that they are complementary angles. Now, according to the given information, this angle is 24 more than 90 minus x. And if this angle is more than 90 minus x, it means the difference between these two angles is 24, which can be expressed as x minus 90 minus x equal to 24. You could also write it in this way, x equal to 24 plus 90 minus x, because it is given that this angle is 24 more than its complement. So the complement of x is 90 minus x, 24 more means plus 24. Or you could write it like this, where the difference of these two angles is 24. Now, solve it further. Open the bracket. When you open the bracket, you get x minus 90. Minus and minus becomes plus, which is equal to 24. You get the answer as 57. That means the given angle is 57. Let us check whether this answer is correct. That means the measure of the given angle is 24 more than its complement. So the given angle is 57. Is 57 24 more than its complement? Means the complement of 57 is 33, because 57 plus 33 will give you 90. So complement of 57 is 33. And is 57 24 more than 33? Yes, because when you add 24 to 33, you get the answer as 57. So this is one way of checking whether the solution is correct. Let us have a look at another question based on complementary and supplementary angles. Find the angle which is 5 times its supplement. Now you know that the question is based on supplementary angles. So what will you assume one of the angle to be? X. And the other angle will be 180 minus x, because they are supplementary angles. So the clue out here is, once the question is known to you, whether they are supplementary or complementary, you will write the answer in this form. Let the given angle be x, its supplement is 180 minus x. And had it been a question on complementary angle, then the other angle would have been 90 minus x. Now, according to the given information, the angle is 5 times its supplement. So this angle x is equal to 5 times 180 minus x. And when you open the bracket, you get x as 150 degree. Now again, let us check whether this answer is correct. How do you do that? The supplement of 150 is 30. The given angle is 150, its supplement. So 180 minus 150 is 30. Now, is 150 5 times 30? Yes, 5 into 30 is 150. So here we can say that 150 is the given angle, and this 150 is 5 times of its supplement. And the supplement of 150 degree is 30. And the relation between these two is 150 is 5 times of 30. and this 30 is the supplement of 150 degree. If two angles are complements of each other, then each angle is dash angle. So when the word complement is given, that means the sum of the two angles should be equal to 90. And if the sum is equal to 90, that means each angle has to be an acute angle. Example, 60 plus 30 degree gives you 90. 45 plus 45 gives you 90. That means those angles have to be acute angles. Now I want you to draw this diagram and find the value of x in this. It is a very easy question. This is 40 degree, this is 30 degree. You can find out the value of this angle by using angle sum property. And after having done this, you can find out the measure of this because these two are angles in a linear pair, right? And once you get the measure of this, you already know the measure of angle EDC, you can find out the value of x. So the question is, find the value of x. Try doing this on your own. Another question on complementary angles. Two complementary angles are such that twice the measure of one is equal to 3 times the measure of the other. Find the larger of the two measures. I've already given you a clue. When they are complementary angles, you start off by saying, let one of the angle be x. Its complement. So what is the complement of x? It will be 90 minus x. So here, let the measure of one angle be x and its complement is 90 minus x. According to the given information, twice the measure of one is equal to 3 times the measure of the other. So, twice the measure of x is equal to 3 times the measure of the other one. Open the bracket. 5x equal to 270, x is equal to 54 degree. But they have asked, find the larger of the two measures. Now substitute this 54. One of the angle is 54 and the other angle is 90 minus 54, that is 36 degree. So the larger angle is 54 and 54 plus 36 totals up to 90. Students, I hope you've understood how to solve complementary and supplementary type of angles. Whatever questions I have given you in this video lesson based on complementary and supplementary angles, please make a note. They are very, very important. Now, this is an extra question from quadrilaterals. Again, I want all of you to note down this question. It is a very important extra question. The length of the diagonals of a rhombus are 16 centimeter and 12 centimeter. Find the length of each side of the rhombus. So let us draw a rhombus first, okay, because without the diagram, you would not be able to solve it. So this is the figure and I have named it as ABCD. Look at these indications given out here, showing that the diagonals of the rhombus are perpendicular bisectors of each other. So let us start the solution. Make a statement that the diagonals of a rhombus are perpendicular bisectors of each other. So in that case, if we consider this diagonal AC to be 16 and this diagonal BD to be 12, what will be AO? AO will be half of AC because the diagonals here cut each other into equal parts, right? So AO will be half of AC, that is half of 16, which is equal to 8 centimeter. Students, you could also take AC as 12, okay? And you could take BD as 16 centimeter. Whichever way you do, you will get the same answer. Now, half of 16 is 8 centimeter. That means in this, we have got the value of AO as 8. Now let us find out what is the value of BO. Same diagram. Now we have got BO as 6. How so? BO is half into BD because the diagonals bisect each other, which is half into 12, which is 6 centimeter. Now if you look at this triangle AOB, it is a right angle triangle. So you will use Pythagoras Theorem, wherein AB square equal to AO square plus BO square, 8 square plus 6 square. So you get the answer as 100, and therefore AB will be 10 centimeter. That means this side is 10. And you know that in a rhombus, all the sides are equal. So if one side is 10, the other sides will also be 10. You could take any one of the right angle triangle and solve this question. I repeat again, this is a very important extra question. I want all of you to make a note of this. Now, this is the last step where you have to mention that all sides are equal because they are the sides of a rhombus. Now, a similar one, but again slightly different. The length of each side of a rhombus is 10 centimeter. That means in this, a rhombus is given. Okay, now in this question, it is mentioned that each side of the rhombus is 10 and one of its diagonal is 16. So you either take diagonal BD as 16 or you could take diagonal AC as 16. So here I have considered diagonal AC as 16. Now you know that the diagonals bisect each other. So obviously OA will be half of AC. So OA will be equal to 8 centimeter. Let us look at the solution. Again, a very, very important question. Make a statement. Diagonals of a rhombus are perpendicular bisectors of each other. Find out what is AO. And then look at triangle AOB. It is a right angle triangle because the diagonals are also perpendicular to each other. So from this, use Pythagoras Theorem and find out the value of OB. So OB will be equal to 10 square minus 8 square. So you get OB square as 36 and therefore OB becomes 6. And if OB is 6, what would be the length of this diagonal BD? BD will be twice of OB because the diagonals bisect each other and therefore BD equal to 12 centimeter. Again, a very, very important question. How different is this from the previous one? Here in this rhombus, the side is given and the diagonal is given. And in the earlier question, both the diagonals were given and you had to find out the side of the rhombus. Now, exercise 8.2. Let us see how to solve question number 3. This is the question wherein ABCD is a rectangle and P, Q, R and S are the midpoints of these sides. You have to prove that the quadrilateral that you get inside is a rhombus. So write down what is given, what you need to prove, and there is a construction. Construction is draw seg AC. So how do you prove this PQRS is a rhombus? Now pay attention. In order to prove PQRS is a rhombus, we will first prove PQRS is a parallelogram. So the proof, let us prove that it is a parallelogram. See in the next slide. Now in order to prove it is a parallelogram, what we are going to do is we will take first this triangle ABC. In this triangle ABC, P is the midpoint of AB and Q is the midpoint of BC. It is already given. Therefore, according to midpoint theorem, PQ is parallel to AC and PQ is half of AC. Right? That is statement number 1. Now, we will take another triangle. I'm highlighting that triangle in blue. Take triangle ABC. In this triangle ADC, S is the midpoint of AD and R is the midpoint of CD. Therefore, SR will be parallel to AC and SR will be half of AC according to midpoint theorem. Now let's compare statement 1 and statement 2. PQ parallel AC, RS parallel AC. So doesn't PQ and RS become parallel? PQ is half of AC and RS is also half of AC. So PQ and RS become equal to each other. Therefore, this is what you get from 1 and 2. And look at this indication in black. I have proved PQ is congruent to RS and PQ is parallel to RS. And you have learned that if any one opposite pair is parallel and the same pair is also congruent, then the figure becomes a parallelogram. Therefore, this quadrilateral is a parallelogram because a pair of opposite side is parallel as well as congruent. Now, we have proved this quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Now, how do we prove it is a rhombus? In order to prove it is a rhombus, we have to prove the sides are congruent. All the sides are equal. For that, let us take these two adjacent triangles. Let us prove these two triangles congruent. Now, how do you prove these two triangles congruent? You are aware that P is a midpoint of AB. So, AP is equal to BP. Look at the indication in black. Then, these two angles are right angles and AS is congruent to BQ. Because you know that AD is congruent to BC because they are the opposite sides of the rectangle. So half of AD will be congruent to half of BC and half of AD is AS, half of BC is BQ. So AS will be congruent to BQ. Therefore, the two triangles are congruent by SAS congruence rule. Look at the indication SAS. And if they are congruent by SAS congruence rule, therefore, PS will be congruent to PQ. I put a star here, PS congruent to PQ, right? But is PS already congruent to RQ? Why is it congruent to RQ? Because we already proved the quadrilateral inside is a parallelogram. Opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal. So, PS is congruent to RQ. But PS is already congruent to PQ. So, what conclusion do we draw from that? PQ will be congruent to RQ and PQ will also be congruent to RS. So, here we have proved. Now, here PS is already congruent to RQ because they are the opposite sides of the parallelogram. But PS is congruent to PQ. We have just proved now by taking these two triangles. So you notice that these all four sides will automatically become congruent to each other. Hence, all sides are equal. And if all sides are equal, this parallelogram PQRS becomes a rhombus. Hence, proved. Okay. So students, I hope you've understood this. I want you to make a note of this solution also. Whatever extra questions that I have done from quadrilaterals and lines and angles in today's video lesson, please go through it, especially questions based on supplementary complementary angles and quadrilateral chapter problems based on diagonals, wherein in one question you had to find out the side of the rhombus and in the other the length of the other diagonal. Please go through that once again. Thank you and all the best for your exams.